way. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but just to let you know, there are 7 primary handling instructions. The most common one is HXG, and if you're passing traffic, they'll say Hotel X-Ray Golf, and that means that delivery of the message to the addressee is not required by mail or toll call. So if you've got to make a long-distance call and pay for it, you don't have to do it. You don't have to use a stamp. If there's any expense to it at all, cancel a message and let the originating station know about it. There's a procedure for this called servicing that's explained on the ARRL website along with a lot of other details. We won't get into that tonight, but suffice to know that if you see HXG, try your best to get the message through, but don't go through any expense. The next block we have to consider is station of origin. This is the call sign of the station that originated the message. If you're writing the message, your call sign goes in the box. If I'm doing it, the station of origin is going to be KB3KYH. If you're at the Brown County EOC, use the station call sign there. I'm sorry, I don't recall what it is, but I'm sure Todd will tell us when we go around for comments. You put that call sign in the station of origin. If you're relaying a message, in other words, receiving it from one amateur, passing it to another, keep the originating call sign as when you receive the message. If you get a message in that says the originating call sign was K3ABC, don't change that. You just pass the message along to the next station. Do not change it. That call sign will always be on that message until it's finally delivered to the addressee. And speaking of changes, never make any changes to a message that you're relaying. Even though you know a word is misspelled, resist at all accounts the urge to change that message. The next block is the check block. Now that really means count. And I don't know why they didn't use count, but they used check. I guess that means to check the number of words, because that's what it is. The check is a count of the number of words in the message. Again, take a look at the ARRL website for additional details on this, because there are specific rules for counting punctuation, telephone numbers, number groups, and other unique items. And I'll give you an example in about a minute or two about how to do the check. KB3KYH, this is the Brown Kewaunee County ARES net. The next block, and we're almost done with these blocks, is the place of origin. That's the city where the message was originated. For us, it would normally be Green Bay, Wisconsin. Could be Luxembourg if you're over in Kewaunee County. Could be wherever you are where the message is originated. It's the city. The time filed, usually that's left blank. Only fill it in if time is of the essence on a message. And if you do fill it in, be sure you use Zulu time, UTC time. On the date, fill in the month and day. For example, March 5. Don't need to put the year. All right, that takes care of the preamble. Now we're going to look at the address, and this is really important. If you look on the form, you see the word to, T-O, Tango Oscar. In there, you write in the name, street address, apartment number, condo number, city, zip code, phone number, and email address. As much information as you have about where this message is ultimately to go. If the recipient's another ham, also put his or her call sign in the address. All this info will help get it to the right person as quickly as possible. Now over to the lower right, you're going to see a big box that says this radio message was received at. This box is to be filled out only by the ham who finally delivers the message to the addressee. If I had a message that I received from California that was going to someone in Green Bay, I got it through a local net, I would fill that out, and when I pass this message on to the person that was to receive it, I would give them that information. getting a little hoarse here, must be getting long-winded, but we're almost done. This info allows the recipient to contact the ham that sent them the message in the event there's any question regarding the message, or if that person wants to send a reply back to the originator. Now, the heart of the message is the text, but it'll never reach its intended recipient if the preamble and address are not done correctly. So let's talk about the text and the signature, and really, these are about the easiest part of the message. The radiogram, as you can see, contains 5 lines with places for 5 words per line. This structure does a lot to keep the message orderly and is a big help when you copy the message as it comes into your station or as you create a message. A typical message with a signature could be as simple as this, and I'll read it as if I were sending it to you. Arrived, Milwaukee, on train, X-ray, be home tomorrow, Jim.
This is the K9GB repeater.
Okay, that's an example of a normal, routine message. Someone is telling the addressee that they got to Milwaukee on the train, and then the X-ray means period. These are some of the signs that are used for punctuation that you have to learn about on the ARRL website. But in this case, Jim arrived on the train, X-ray means period, be home tomorrow, and it's signed Jim. Now I told you we'd talk about the check. Well, if you count these words, you count arrived, Milwaukee on train, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. The X-ray counts as 1, so now we're up to 5. Be home tomorrow is 6, 7, and 8. So the check is 8. But you're going to say, what about the word Jim? Well, for whatever reason, the signature isn't counted. Never has been. So this has a check of 8. Now, if you got this message, and at the top, at the preamble, it said check of 8, and it said, arrive Milwaukee on train X-ray, be home, Jim. You'd know something was missing. So you'd be prompted when you were receiving this message to tell whoever sent it to you over the radio, please say again the word after home. And that's where he would fill in, his mistake of not telling you tomorrow. So you'd have your check balance, the words would be right, the message would be right. And the person who was to receive this message would know that Jim was coming home tomorrow. That's about it. The fact that there are several steps and rules associated with the radiogram makes it seem intimidating, but after you do a few, you get into the flow and things get a lot easier. They're actually a lot of fun to do, especially when you call someone at the local level and pass this information. Many times people don't know anything about ham radio, and you get to give a little talk about it, and they're always very thankful. I've got experience with doing over 200 of these, and I've always enjoyed it, making the calls. To wrap it up, on the bottom of the form, you'll see the words received and sent. These blanks are used for the ham who receives and then relays a message on to another ham. We can talk more about that during future training. It's pretty self-explanatory. You fill it in if you were relaying a message on. Now, whether tonight's training was something new for you or a refresher, I hope it made you more familiar with the National Traffic System and the radiogram. As I mentioned, please check out the League website for more detailed information, and also you can get information on this subject from the Wisconsin ARRL section website. A lot of good links on there. This is KB3KYH. This concludes the training for the Tuesday night ARES Races Net. For any other check-ins for the net, please call KB3KYH. WB9 NRK. WB9NRK is recognized. Thank you for checking in, Dale. Are there any others? Okay, are there any questions or comments directly related to the training topic or directly related to ARES racing? Please call.
KB3KH.
With a double, I recognize W9GRB.
Thanks. Good topic tonight, Bill. I have a couple of little things. The Hotel X-ray section, the one you'll probably really maybe see other than the one Bill mentioned is Hotel X-ray Charlie, and that means you want a receipt. You want information when that was received. The other thing that I've actually sent 5 radiograms in the last couple of weeks. I was part of an exercise that required radiograms, and the WinLink form, we'll probably be using WinLink maybe more than voice. There's an option to put in a liaison station in the WinLink radiogram, and if you put the person that you want to get this message in as the liaison station, this message will kind of bypass the entire NTS traffic system and be delivered directly to the person. But if you don't put a liaison station, or you put a different liaison station, then that radiogram will actually make its way through different operators and on its way to your intended recipient. So on the WinLink form, we want to send a radiogram directly to somebody, put them in as the liaison station. W9GRB.
Okay, Todd, very good. Thank you for that information. By the way, do you recall offhand the call sign of the EOC now?
Yeah, I remembered I was supposed to say that and just forgot. But our new call sign that we received a couple months ago is Whiskey X-Ray 9 Bravo Charlie. Whiskey X-Ray 9 Bravo Charlie.
Okay, thank you very much. Whiskey Echo 9 Bravo Charlie, we have it. And that's clear with W9GRB. There was another station. Please call.
Net Control, this is W9SJR. I'm the one that accidentally doubled. Just a quick comment. Thanks for the training, and for those of us that are new to radiograms, let's keep going with this and get some more practice so that it becomes more familiar. This is a great little tool. That's all. W9SJR.
Okay, Sam, very good. Well, we certainly have a lot. There's lots and lots of information about this, and there are people that have worked on this for many, many years and know every nook and cranny. I just wanted to present an overview so that people might get a little bit more familiar with it, but we can sure do more. Thanks for your comments. Any other comments or check-ins before we close the net? Call KB3KYH. Net Control. K9IQ. Go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to mention that for those people that are going to do a sort to see the handling instructions, there's also a list of ARL common messages that could be sent in lieu of actual text. So I just thought I would mention that. KB3KYH, K9IQ.
Very good. That's a good comment, Larry. I was going to talk about that, and I thought that I was getting too long as it is, but since you bring it up, sometimes you might see a message instead of saying arrived at Milwaukee on the train, it might say ARL, I'll make it up, 581 Milwaukee on train, or there's items in there for happy birthday where it'll say ARL 56, many more. So when you get one like that, you have to do as Larry suggested, go and look up what those ARL shortcut phrases are. And again, after you do a few of these, it comes second nature. And every net that I've ever been on, it's a no-fault net, especially when people know you're new at it. They'll be very gentle and help you. And if the person isn't that way, well, there's probably other nets to check into then, because you don't want to have to deal with somebody that's not going to try to help you. So thank you for that, Larry. Good comment. Any other comments?
This is the K9GB repeater.
Net control.
Go ahead.
Net control, Kilo Delta Niner, Mike India Lima, Dan in Appleton checking in. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Good evening. Yeah, I just left the Manitowoc net, so just tuning in. Over.
Okay, Dan. I think you said your name was Dan. Appreciate you checking in down there from Outagamie County. We got you in the log, and it's nice of you to join us. Anyone else?
Net control, KD9WLM.
Go ahead.
The other commenter gave me a quick question. So if we get a message that has one of those ARL shortcut codes, do we transmit the message exactly as we got it with the shortcut code, or do we look up what that code means and transmit the message in full?
Okay, that's a good question, Jane. If you're relaying a message, you do it just as it says. If it says ARL 56, Merry Christmas, that's what you send. If you're the end recipient, let's say the message was coming to somebody that was living across the street from West High School, I'll make it up, and the phone number was in the message, and you took the message, maybe on this net, and you said, I'll take the traffic. So you take the message, you write it down, ARL 5658, whatever it is. But before you call a recipient, Mrs. Joe Smith, you break that down and you make sure you know what it says. And so maybe the message says, happy birthday on your 75th. Best of luck, Mary. But it only says ARL 56, best of luck, Mary. So you've got to break it down so when you call the lady on the phone, you can say, oh, I've got an ARRL radiogram for you. This came from a ham operator way in California, but it's from your friend Mary. And here's what it says. It says, happy birthday, Judy, many more, Mary. And that's what it says. You don't give her the ARL or anything like that. Nothing technical. Just tell her what the message says in plain terms, and you'll be surprised how happy people are to hear it. And they'll ask, well, how did you get that? Where are you? How do you know all about this? It'll be a fun conversation.
Okay, so if I understand properly, if a ham is passing it to me and I'm passing it to another ham, I just use the AR. If a ham is passing it to me and I'm passing it to the final recipient, I give them the full message, happy birthday.
That's correct. If you're the final station, you break it down and call the person, the addressee, and give it to them. Plain text, I guess you'd say. But if you're sending it to another ham, like if you were going to send it to me, then you relay it exactly the way you got it, no changes, and no need to break it down. Good question.
Affirmative. Thank you very much. And I did want to say that I appreciate getting more practice with this, and I also appreciate that you sent out the email with the form so that I understood the lesson and what would be expected of me so I could participate fully. Thank you very much for that assistance. KD9WLM.
Good. I'm glad you did. Enjoyed it, and thanks for the comment. One more call for comments before we close the net.
WB9NRK.
WB9NRK. Go ahead, sir.
Well, tonight's net training was real good because I've been doing it for 50 years, but I used to get messages by CW, and of course, in the CW nets, he got via Mars. He started wondering what that is. So, anyways, and excuse me, a little shaky here, but one time Fred gave me a message to send his daughter. Then I got a response, so then I gave Fred a call and gave it back that way too. I'm not sure if Fred's on the net tonight or not. WB9NRK, that's all.
Well, good. Thank you for your comments. And there's an example of someone that's been doing it, forever. And I'm sure if he didn't enjoy doing it, he wouldn't have 50 years of handling traffic. It's a fun thing to do, and it makes you feel good when you call these people and pass the traffic. Okay, well, we've had a good net tonight. I want to thank everybody that checked in, that's for sure, and the people that participated. I want to thank Todd for being backup net control, and thank the Green Bay Mike and Key Club for allowing us the use of their repeater. I'm now closing the net at 19:38 hours. This is KB3KYH out.
KB3KYH, before you go, W9JE with a comment.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, there was one time when I was asked to pass a message along, and the person that was originating the message was going to send it the normal way until she heard me on the air, and being as though I was in the same town as where her message was going, she decided to bypass the traffic system and give me the message directly. And this was back when I had first gotten my novice ticket back in '88, or maybe it was '89, one of those two. And I really thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun handling the traffic however you do it, and it makes you feel like you're doing something. This is, a little bit outside of the realm of hobby because it takes some dedication, and it's providing a service. So it's kind of a thrill sometimes to do these things. I got one war story I'll pass on, and one time you take traffic, and I received one that was for a ham in the local area. So I didn't recognize his call sign, but I had all the information, the phone and so forth, so I called. And a lady answered the phone, and I said, "Oh, is so-and-so there?" She said, "Oh, no, he passed away about 7 months ago." And what the message was a reminder that he should renew his ham license. It was expiring. Some of those are passed on the net as well. I felt so bad, and I apologized to her. And I bet we talked for 20 minutes. She was so happy to talk to somebody, and it was so nice to talk to the lady. But that happens once in a while. That's one of my message passing experiences that I'll probably never forget. Oh, I will remember one other. I got a message. It was for a ham again, calling him, congratulating him on being a ham for 20 years, whatever it was. So I called and I said, "Is this Jim Smith, W9ABC?" He said, "Yes, it is, but how'd you get my number?" And I explained it. "Well, I'm on the no-call list. Don't you ever call me again." I said, "But this is a radiogram." He said, "Didn't you hear me? I'm on the no-call list." So There was two experiences there, a very nice one and a kind of a negative one, but two that I'll never forget.
This is the K9GB repeater.
Yep, the one that I was able to bypass everybody else. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to complete the call or complete the message because I was told by the sender to try a certain amount of times, and if I didn't get any response by such and such a time, just to forget it and don't worry about it. So that was that one, but it did make me feel the person that they were sending, it was a family member of the person who wanted the message delivered to that person, and it made me feel good to at least attempt to get the message to that family member.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. It's a good system. It's a good system. Well, thanks for checking in, and I know the net's closed, and but thanks for listening in while you had your supper time there. So, Ed, we'll see you. And we'll say good evening. W9.